Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going to go over the basics of compositing. That's when you blend one or more images together, like this picture I created of a superhero puppy failing miserably at saving the world from a nuclear disaster. I'm sure he tried hard, but he has no thumbs, so what do you expect? Anyway, let me show you how I did it in Affinity Photo 2. Every composite image needs pictures to blend together. I get mine from a variety of free sources. I'll show you 4 here that you can use in your own projects. The first image comes from pixabay.com. I typed in the word explosion into the search bar and then scrolled down until I found one that I thought would fit with what I had in mind. I double-clicked on the image, selected the file size I wanted, and then clicked download. Next, I went to pexels.com, another free image site, and searched for ruins. I found this one right off that seems to work with the big explosion I just downloaded. I'll click the little green button to download this one too. Then I went to texturelabs.org. This site offers free texture images. I searched under smoke and found this nice image. Another download. One more to go. Lastly, I went to leonardo.ai. This is an artificial intelligence image generator. You can create free images by typing in a description of what you want to make. I typed in something about a superhero Shih Tzu just for fun. Then I tried to make one with a female superhero. But the little puppy was so cute, I decided to go with him. I clicked the little download button and now I'm ready to composite. Next, I opened up Affinity Photo 2. I'll start with the ruins by going to File, Open, and selecting the file from pexels.com. I want to isolate this hill and the ruins in the foreground and remove those houses and hills in the background. So, I'm going to use my pen tool in the left-hand toolbar to outline a series of pen marks around the area I want to select. This is pretty easy, but takes a little time, so I'll speed this up a bit so as not to bore you. There's a lot of tiny straight angles in this part of the image. Just try to click your cursor to put a pen mark at the changes in angles and make sure to go all the way around the area you want to select. Complete the curve at the end by clicking on the starting node. Alright, now that we have the foreground encircled, click the selection button in the top left toolbar. You'll see those little marching ant dotted lines around your selection. Now, click the mask button at the bottom of the layers panel. It looks like a white square with a black dot in the middle. Affinity will automatically mask out the selected area. If we need to work on this more later, we can. But it looks pretty good to me for now. Next, I'm going to open up my nuclear explosion image. I have added a place tool in my toolbar. If you don't have that out, you can go to File and then Place to bring up your files. I'll select the explosion, drag the cursor across my canvas, and move it into place. Then, I'll click and hold on the explosion layer in the Layers panel, and then drag it under the Ruins layer. This puts the explosion behind the hill. I can use the arrow-shaped move tool to click and hold onto either image while I move them around into positions that look best to me. There, that looks pretty good. Next, I'll bring in a little smoke for the background. So, I'll click on my Place tool, or you can go to File then Place, and I'll choose the smoke image I got from texturelabs.org. Affinity will place the new image above the selected layer. So, in this case, it shows up between the explosion and the ruins. I'll drag and drop that from the middle layer to the top, which is where I want it. To blend this in, I'll go to my blend modes drop down at the top of the layers panel and scroll around until I find one that looks good to me. I think I'll go with hard light here. Alright, now for Super Puppy. I'll go back to my Place tool, or File then Place in the menu, and select the file I created in leonardo.ai. We'll drag the cute little guy onto the screen. Okay, now I'll need to isolate the little pooch from his background. But first, the layer needs to be a pixel layer, not an image layer. You can tell from the little icon next to the thumbnail. To convert this image to a single pixel layer, right-click on it and scroll down to rasterize. Now, I can use the selection brush tool in the left-hand toolbar to paint over our furry superhero. You'll see the little marching ants indicating the selection area. If you go over, don't worry, you can hold the Option or Alt key while painting to deselect an area. And if you need to get into finer detail, you can use the left bracket key to make your brush head smaller. Alright, I think I've got a really good selection, but I'm going to click the Refine tool in the top toolbar to see if I missed anything. Actually, it's almost perfect. With the matte adjustment brush selected, I'll just go over these loose hairs at the top of our super dog's head. Okay, there's a lot of red on this dog, so I'll change the preview mode to white to check out how it looks. I think that looks good. Oops, I need to set the output mode first. Let's go with New Layer and then click Apply. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now, I'll use the arrow-shaped move tool in the left-hand toolbar to drag this powerful pooch to a nice spot in the foreground here. Next, I'm going to create a bit of shadow in front of Super Puppy. To do this, I'll click Command or Control-J to duplicate the layer. Then, I'll go to the FX button at the bottom of the Layers panel and I'll select Color Overlay and check the box. The default color is already set to black, which is what I want. Now, I'll right-click on the shadow layer to bring up some options. I'll scroll down to Transform and then select Flip Vertical. I'll move this down a bit so that it's mirroring my puppy. Then, I'll go to the Layers panel and drag the shadow layer below the puppy layer. To make the shadow more shadowy, I'll go back to the FX button and this time select Gaussian Blur. I'll move the radius slider way up. It's still a bit dark, so I'll go to the opacity slider at the top left of the Layers panel and slide it to the left a bit. There, that looks better. Next, I think my super puppy is a bit too bright, given the fact that a nuke is going off behind him. So, I'll go to the Adjustments button at the bottom of the Layers panel and select Brightness and Contrast. I'll just slide the brightness down a bit to the left. Notice that the whole picture is changing when I just want it to affect the puppy. So, I'll go to the adjustment layer and drag and drop it onto the puppy cutout so it only affects that layer. Alright, last thing, and then I'll let you go. I think we need more smoke near the bottom in front of our caped crusader. So, I'll select the smoke layer and then click Command or Control-J to duplicate it. Next, I'll move that layer to the very top of the stack. And I'll change the blend mode back to normal. Now, I'll click the Mask button at the bottom of the Layers panel to apply a mask to the smoke. Finally, I'll use the Gradient tool on the left-hand toolbar and drag the cursor from bottom to top. The default in the gradient is white to black with grey in between. So this will only reveal the smoke at the bottom and make it appear to dissipate gradually. In the end, compositing is really about breaking images apart, rearranging the pieces, and then using several or many techniques to blend them in with each other. It's one of my favorite things to do in Affinity Photo. I have a whole playlist of compositing videos if you want to see more. I'll leave a link in the description. Alright, that's about it for today. If you learned something and want to see more of this kind of content, please click those like and subscribe buttons. And if you're feeling generous, this channel runs on Caffeine. There's a link to buy me a cup of coffee in the descriptions. Not necessary, but certainly appreciated. Have a great day, everyone.